Well, thank you, buddy. We're okay. Victoria's okay. Family and friends are all okay. World got weird. Hi, folks. It's Michael T. Christensen. It's been a minute because things got a little cray-cray. I was going to record the last video before we went to go put together our save the dates for the wedding, but didn't have time that week. And then we got back and we've pretty much just been in nonstop dealing with quarantine and self-isolation and COVID stuff since then. Like I said, we are okay. There's just been a lot going on. Been working on getting our home offices set up so that we can do work from home. Been dealing with just making sure that we have the essentials. And just been doing a lot of housework. You know, that's the benefit of being home kind of isolated and not able to leave, is that you kind of have to just focus in and be productive in one form or another. So far, what we've been focusing on has been primarily stuff around the house. So we've reorganized our bedroom, we've reorganized the bathroom. I mean, we completely took out the shower doors because they were hideous and put in a shower curtain. We washed our patios. I mean, we've been doing a lot of stuff. We cleaned out the closet. That feels like forever ago. We just went through and just took out so much crap from the closet. And we have bags of stuff to donate as soon as we have the means to do so. Victoria has started making masks because you have to now have masks to go outside, not medical masks. Not like we can get our hands on medical masks right now anyway, but we're making an alternative so that we can potentially go out and do things that need to get done. It's been a lot, and there are people out there who are really suffering, and we are very lucky. We're very fortunate that we have not been in that position. Victoria actually had some pretty severe symptoms last week, and we talked to the doctor, and the doctor pretty much said that she had COVID-19. But based on the symptoms, the doctor said, well, it sounds like you're going to be at the tail end of this based on what we've been experiencing. But she's on the mend. Things have been doing better. She's been feeling a lot better this week. So that's good. Again, we are safe, we are happy and healthy, and there are people out there who are doing a lot worse than that. And actually, this coming Saturday, this is how we know it is truly the end times, I'm going to play D&D with Victoria. She has never played, and she's always been very resistant to the idea of playing, but, you know, I guess things are bad enough that she actually has little else to do but indulge me in my goofy weirdness. So she made a character. And a writing check-in. I have not really been able to devote as much time as I would like to writing, but this week we're kind of getting back to a normal schedule. I've been working from home, you know, more or less ever since we got back from our trip in mid-March. But now that we are actually settled and we have the supplies that we need, it's going to be easier for me to actually carve out the time and do some writing. One of my commenters, who I won't name but do share a bed with, pointed out that I haven't talked at all about the short stories, and fair enough, I haven't worked on any of the short stories. Longtime viewers will remember that my goal was to write a new short story every month, and I have not been doing that even prior to March. I didn't do that in January or February. So that is one of my goals, is to get back into writing some more short stories. This week I actually did some work on what the next one is going to be, and I think what's helped me is kind of focusing in on one character and just trying to make sure that I'm telling a lot of stories about them. I think that would be a lot of fun. So we will see where that comes out, but hopefully I will have some more things to share by the end of the month. I'll have at least one more short story, if not more. I'm also still working on revisions for the superhero novel. That's been going pretty well whenever I have the time to sit down and do it, which should be more and more. I've really been able to do some good progress on just converting my notes from the last draft and translating them so that the new draft is a little more polished. I would love to have that done by early to mid-May. And if earlier, then even better. That would be fantastic. And I want to thank at least one viewer so far has reached out and said that they're willing to be a critique partner, and I'm very excited for a working relationship with them. That should be a lot of fun. And potentially I'll start with the short stories because those will be kind of ready for presentation sooner. I kind of need to decide whether these are short stories that'll live on my website, which I need to put together as well, which certainly I should do now. I've got the time for it. And that would be a fun way to exhibit that writing and kind of expose my writing to more people. But I also want to submit my writing, and I'm sure there are places that don't want you posting things before you submit them. So I have to look into which things I want to submit and which things I'd rather just post for people to read. It feels like there's a lot going on all the time. And that's definitely true right now. You know, I want to be sensitive to the fact that a lot of people are going through much, much harder times than we are. You know, I'm very lucky. My job was the sort of job that I was still able to do from home. I know a lot of people who lost their jobs because of this pandemic, and it happened very, very early on, and back before grocery stores had really figured out how to handle the influx of people. So I don't know if they got all the resources they need, which is really scary. And I know there are more people out there who are losing their jobs, and there are people out there as well who are losing health insurance for that reason, and that's extra scary. Again, we are lucky that we are in the position that had Victoria's condition gotten worse, yes, we would have had to go to the emergency room, and that could have been quite expensive. She was warned that if her oxygen dropped to 90, that we would have to go to the emergency room. We didn't have a way to monitor that, so we went to Target, and we were able to actually find an oxygen monitoring device, and she got to 91 one day when she woke up, and that was pretty scary. But it got back up pretty much as soon as she got out of bed, so figured out that her being active is very healthy and good. That helps keep her oxygen level high. We got lucky. There are a lot of people out there who are not getting lucky, and that is it's scary. It's hard to imagine what is going to change after this, but it's impossible to imagine that nothing's going to change. You know, the way that we live our lives is going to be different, and that's maybe why the short stories I'm working on are going to be primarily fantasy rather than superhero, because even though the superhero novel takes place in a very different world, it's a world where superheroes are a going thing, like the DC universe or something like that. It's still a modern world, and I have no intentions of referencing the coronavirus in it. I have no intentions of referencing the economy in it, or any presidents, current or previous. But it's still, I think, weird to just be writing that kind of fiction. I don't know, because this is such a strange situation, and it is going to change the world that we live in. There's a terrific video by Hank Green that just came out where he talked about how his current book that's in revisions, he got very lucky in that he was able to change a couple of things in light of the coronavirus. Obviously, he didn't know that it was going to be coming, and the book is all about to be published. Now it should be about 90 days away from being published, but he had a very short window where he could apply some changes because the world that he wrote it in doesn't exist anymore. Now it's the world the book will be published in is at least closer to what we have now, and at least closer to something that you can kind of project or imagine. We don't know what is going to change. Hopefully we can get something fixed with health insurance. I don't know, man. It's tough because that first week when I was running errands and getting everything that we needed for the house, and that was food, and that was furniture, and that was so many things, I was just getting more and more worried about what was going on out there. I had a friend who was sleeping in his car because his housing situation fell through immediately. And that was like day one, basically, of this thing hitting LA. I know there are so many people out there who are going to be struggling. And of course, there's the cabin fever problem. There's people out there who are just trying to fill the hours and trying to figure out what they're doing with their time. And I'm trying to be sensitive to that as well, because that is a dangerous thing to ignore. On the one hand, I have some friends who are bemoaning the fact that there's nothing to do, and I'm like, well, it's a pandemic. Like, I'm sorry that this isn't fun. But I also know that there are some people out there who this sort of situation is actually really, really hard for them because they are extroverts or they need to be active or there's any number of things. Victoria is this way to a certain point where, projects in front of her help her, stay in a good state of mind, and not having one, like, we are very lucky. We have a lot of housework to do. So we've got a lot to do around the house, but there are people out there who, don't have someone to lean on the way that we have each other. I don't have a lot to say right now, honestly. I thought that I would just sit down with the camera and just let you know what I'm thinking. And the truth is, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to stay healthy as best as we can, and we're going to try to treat each other well and try to treat other people well. And, there's not much else we can do beyond that. This is a difficult time. And I'm very fortunate that I have people that I can still stay in touch with remotely, via texts or occasional phone calls. We've got some board game nights that we're doing over Zoom. My family got together on a call last weekend, and we played some Jackbox games, and that was fun. I definitely recommend if you can do something like that. That can be really helpful. Stay in touch with people, and I think I just need to keep doing more writing because I think that'll help me. And if you have any projects out there that you can work on, like, you might as well work on them. But sometimes that headspace makes it hard to work on them. And here's, I guess, what I want to say. If you are having a hard time focusing on a project, if the current situation is freaking you out and you are not able to get yourself in the headspace you need to work on the project you need to work on, you should feel okay about that. That is okay. I'm lucky. All I'm doing really is applying notes from my last draft, and a lot of them are kind of like phrasing. I'm not going in and doing major structural changes right now. Short story is a little harder to break into right now, but I think by going to something fantasy, something that is completely devoid from our world, that's helping me kind of contextualize my way into that. If you're writing something present day, if you're writing something that deals with any subjects that are coming up right now, like housing and poverty and the economy and pandemics, anything that is remotely related to what we're going through, I do not want you to feel bad that you don't want to do it right now, because that's acceptable. But I do hope that you find something, if it's not writing, that's fine, something that brings you some joy and is able to kind of get you through the days. Because these days are rough, and there's a lot of them to come. I don't want to take away anything from anyone who's struggling, and especially anyone who has lost someone or is in danger of losing someone. We have to be good to each other. This pandemic will bring out the best and the worst in us. So it sometimes feels hard. Like, I've got projects that I want to work on where it's like, hey, I can post videos about this or that. And part of me is like, I don't want to put these things out there right now because it feels weird to invite people to feel joy. But some people need it. Some people just need distractions. And I'm good at that. I'm not great at the kind of thing that makes you think more about your problems and makes you focus in on the real world and makes you aware of your place in the universe. I'm not great at that stuff, but I can do distractions. So expect more videos like that. All honesty, probably the rest of these videos for the next few months are going to be pretty light on coronavirus news. I think there are smarter people than me who can help you with what you're working through on those. There are smarter people than me in general, but especially on this subject. But I can do distractions. So that's what I'm going to be working on for the foreseeable future on this channel. Because I'm still trying to figure out how to be a writer. I'm still working on that stuff. Hi, buddy. I know. You know, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that for your entertainment and hopefully your enjoyments. And that's what I'm working on, you know? I've been watching a lot of YouTube, not been doing as much reading, but finally this week got back to this book and I'm actually pretty close to done. So maybe soon I'll start working on some of these again, which would be pretty cool. You know, there's not much else to say right now from me. Stay safe, wash your hands. Yeah, watch this channel for more stuff that is distraction related, because that's what I got. Some writing stuff. I had a lot of videos I was going to do in March and April that I'm going to start doing some of them, but you know, we'll just see what I feel like doing, and I'm not going to worry too much about what my schedule was going to be. I've got Wrigley, I've got my furry friend. Hopefully you got a furry friend or a good friend or a best friend that you can lean on. I'm here, so let me know if I can help. If you just need someone to talk to, I'm here for that too. Until next time, stay safe, wash your hands. I love you, Victoria.